across the globe, across the states. And let me start by saying that each man plays his part, and collectively we have a system running. And I must say that I ask myself these questions every day. Am I playing my part when it comes to the Nigerian community, when it comes to my own front, and when it comes to people that matters? And I want my viewers to always ask themselves as well, are you playing your own part? Again, I say excellent afternoon to all Nigerians watching us across the globe. Again, you're on to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. Of course, I am the convener of this platform, Kike of Atanda-Owo. And I have the real talkers on the show today, especially when Atarudu is on the set, and that is Damilola.
Okay.
How you doing? I'm giving you a new name.
No, Atarudu is sauce, you know. You can't use pepper water to wash your eyes. Hello, everybody, from wherever you're watching. It's another great, beautiful Tuesday where we have to ask ourselves, are you playing your part diligently as a Nigerian? I'll ask myself and I'll say, well, I'm doing my very best. I think to the best of my knowledge, very best at 99.9%. I'm a Nigerian. I'm a patriotic citizen of Nigeria. That's the Nigerian matter used to bomb my body. And therefore, where do you stand?
I stand with you.
Oh, solidarity forever.
Good afternoon, viewer. It's good to have you join us again this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Sorry about that. Welcome to our show, Real Talk with Kike. And let's get this conversation going.
All right, exactly 13 years ago, the former governor of Nasarawa State, I think Adamu Abdullahi, I hope I got that.
Yes.
Was arrested. He was arrested.
Yes.
And let's get the details from our On This Day in History
Adamu
segment. Please stay with us. We'll be right back, Abdullahi.
On this day in history, in 2010, exactly 12 years ago, Abdullahi Adamu, the former governor of Nasarawa State, was arrested for allegedly embezzling government money meant for public projects. Adamu was arrested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for allegedly embezzling $100 million. EFCC's head of media and publicity at the time, Mr. Femi Babafemi, said Adamu was arrested over fraudulent award of contracts, mostly on capital projects, during his 8-year rule as governor of the state. He said the former governor will be arraigned in court after his interrogation.
Thanks for staying with us, guys. The real thing actually happens behind the cameras, especially when we're going to be. But you know, just let's
dive into the On This Day in History segment. For me, exactly 12 years ago, I just feel that nothing has changed, because most of our governments, you know, those people who are in the corridor of power till date, they are still, you know, as one. Corruption or the other, allegedly swept under the carpet. And I'm wondering, it has become a culture, however we look at it. Sure. And Dami, what's your take on this? The problem for me is that there's money in this country, because where are these monies coming from that they embezzle? Now it feels like nobody in the corridors of power, especially our political officers, they do not take Nigeria like a company, because if you have a company, you will not watch it fold up. But yeah, they don't take Nigeria as a company, as an entity, as a business entity, that okay, we need to grow this company, we need to make this move forward.
It's about their pockets. Yes. It's about what's in it for me.
It feels like when you are not
how do I need to take care of the next great generation?
It feels like when you are not in a particular camp, they finger you, they witch hunt you. After that, okay, now what happened to Abdullahi's story and so many other stories like that?
And now, just like we were saying, 12 years after, what next?
Somebody will still steal money
tomorrow. We haven't heard the end of the story. We never hear the conclusion of the matter. So here we are, reminding
Nigerians of Abdullahi, who was a former governor of Nasarawa. All right, many thanks for staying with us. On Real Talk with Kike, we take action beyond the studios, let me put it like that, and we're concerned about various sectors of our economy, and would like to say stakeholders' action in those sectors. And on the show today, our cameras led us to the office of the Minister of Interior, and today we will be airing another exclusive interview with the Honorable Minister of Interior, that is Ogbeni Engineer Rauf Aregbesola. All right, many thanks for staying with us. Before we go straight to the interview itself, I think I want to avail ourselves with the discussion that I had with the Honorable Minister on a number of issues and development concerning his ministry. And I must say that the one-on-one conversation with the Honorable Minister for Interior cut across immigration services, employment, state prison facility, jailbreaks, the judicial system, and a whole lot more in respect of the states in the country. But let me quickly use this opportunity to say that there are production issues with this interview, regarding this interview. So please bear with us. Let's just go straight to the interview. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Excellent afternoon to all our viewers across the globe. Right now, I'm so excited because apart from being with the Honorable Minister for Interior, I see my next guest as a committed public affairs officer who is diligent and when it comes to his work towards the good and representation of country and its citizens. And I must say that I remember during his tenure as the governor of Osun State, where he gave the state a turnaround, especially when it comes to education. Of course, there are other sectors as well. And of course, he instilled a lot of lofty ideas as a reputable Omoluabi. I remember during his tenure where he gave tablets to some schools, something that has to do with education as well. I think that's one of the things that reckons with me more. But again, I say many thanks for hosting us despite your busy schedule. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
All right, sir. So going straight to the topic at hand, I know that a total of 286 foreigners, including Americans, Asians, Australians, Europeans, were granted citizenship by your ministry, and it means that we are doing something right, if you ask me, because I feel that it's like an attraction to our economy. And I'm also kudos to your work with all that you are doing thus far. But I must ask you, how do we hope to increase these figures, considering the fact that some of them will bring foreign direct investment and value to the economy in terms of ease of doing business in Nigeria?
Well, thank you, my dear sister, for the very high recommendation and positive opinion you have expressed about me. On the naturalization and grant of citizenship to a number of foreigners who applied for such consideration, it's an ongoing exercise. Though in these tenure, that will be the first exercise of that nature, but it will be continuous. We already have a number of applicants that we are processing. On or before the middle of the year, I should be able to make some other presentation to the Federal Executive Council for approval. And so we are only going to have more. The joy of it really is that our nation is attractive. To me, that should be the joy of all Nigerians, that yes, and it speaks to the fact that the world is quite exciting and interrelated, while there are Nigerians who feel like living in Nigeria. There are several others who are doing everything to be Nigerians, and they are not limited to just a particular part of the world. They are all over there. They are from all over the place. There are applicants from South America, as there are from North America, from Europe, from Asia, from the Middle East, from the Far East, from Australia, from New Zealand, from Africa. The applicants from Africa are quite few compared to those who really want to be Nigerian, from the Middle East, from Asia, from Southeast Asia, from Europe, from the Americas. So we just get to know the company.
Yeah, many thanks for all you shared thus far. I know that some of the challenges that we are facing in Nigeria is of doing business, and with what you shared, I know it has added value to our economy. But however, moving on to the effort of employment, that is employment for Nigerian youth, we know how restless Nigerian youth can be, and I must say that when it comes to that, you've added value as well in terms of sustaining this employment ratio on yearly basis. How do you move forward after each year? How do you beat each record, if I may ask?
Besides nationalization of foreigners and registration of women married to Nigerians who seek to be our citizens and are therefore, when qualified, are granted, we equally issue permits to foreign investors who are here for business. And after the permit, we equally grant quota positions for expatriate employees. And the condition for the grant of expatriate quota position is that for every position granted for an expatriate to work in Nigeria, 2 Nigerians must be employed by such company to understudy the expatriate for a maximum period of 7 years, after which the Nigerian are expected to take over. So that's a veritable source of employment for Nigerians. And we are working hard to ensure that nobody abuses that condition by enforcing compliance. So that is a means of guaranteeing employment. However, employment is an indication, the employment of citizens is an indication of the robustness and strength of the economy. Yes, I know the unemployment challenge facing Nigeria predated the pandemic, but the pandemic made it worse. So, what I want to say is that let us all really prepare ourselves to confront the pandemic as a major challenge and work hard. One, through innovation, applying innovation and resourcefulness to our general condition and finding niches here and there that we can apply ourselves on. Yes, not all of us can creatively engage ourselves. But those who can must not wait for third-party employment. Let us employ ourselves through innovation, through resourcefulness, through creativity, and employ others. With our population, I want to believe, and the percentage of our youth, I want to believe there are opportunities there if we can apply ourselves from the basics, which is accommodation, building, housing, to food, to clothing, and there are recreation. There are opportunities for Nigerians to creatively engage themselves. But as I said, the Ministry of Interior is working on the opportunities that foreign investments bring through expatriate quota, through an effective expatriate quota administration.
All right. Your submission is the fact that entrepreneurship is very important, especially when it comes to SMEs and like. But part of the mandate of the ministry is to grant business permits for foreigners and issue working permits for expatriates. However, we have seen in some occasions that some foreigners abuse the privileges at the expense of Nigerians. How does your ministry collaborate with other agencies, to ensure that the business activities of expatriates don't go against our own rules and industry guidelines in Nigeria?
We grant business permits. We grant expatriate positions to foreign investors and business people, as well as professionals who are engaged in those businesses, either businesses of foreigners or businesses of Nigerians. If you are an expatriate and you are employed here, there must be two understudies that must be mentored and trained by the expatriate to take over after a long period of 7 years. To the less, that is good. We enforce this through the Nigerian Immigration Service and our own oversight committee that enforces the compliance. So that's what we do. And since my advent here, there's going to be a task force that will be going around to ensure that there is effective compliance.
So moving on from foreigners, foreign exchange and ease of doing business, as you've shared a lot of information on that, I want us to touch on our borders, because I feel that our borders constitute some of the major challenges that we have in terms of insecurity, banditry, terrorism, and even in the area of importation of contraband goods. So how are we strengthening and protecting our own borders from all these challenges that we are facing in our country today?
Well, Nigeria has over 4,000 kilometers of boundary line, either from the east to the north down to the west, over 4,000 kilometers. And that does not include the littoral section, the ocean section. So with that, with such a huge borderline, we need more than human capacity for effective border control. Therefore, what are we looking at? We want to use technology to ensure that there is no gap in our surveillance of the borderline. Now we deal with border posts, and we have forward-based stations from which our officers do regular monitoring. But you can only monitor within the capacity of human effort. So when whatever it is, you cannot cover all the space at the same time. So for effective coverage, you must use satellites, you must use drones, you must use several of the modern technology devices that are there for effective 24/7 monitoring, and we will be deploying that. We are working on an arrangement with Huawei, a Chinese company, for maximum deployment technology to keep our border lines under 24-hour, 7-day-a-week surveillance. That's what we call 24/7 surveillance. And it's real time. We have an headquarters that is equipped to monitor the demonstration of this is ongoing. Ilela border post is under 24-hour, 7-day-a-week surveillance. The demonstration of that is ongoing in our technology building. So that is the way to do it. With the acquisition of that technology and effective deployment, then I can guarantee that we have the most effective border surveillance system in the world, because our border lines will be under live 24/7 surveillance.
All right. You know, talking about borderline, because I know that when it comes to information of inmates in Nigeria, especially the prisoners, which is one of the strategy measures to enforce prisoners at the moment, with all that is happening, with all the, like the jail attacks and all of that. In some other countries in Europe, these inmates, I feel that they constitute the workforce. However, are we collectively working in the use of the resources of Nigerian prisoners to the usefulness of our society with what is happening presently with I like the fact that we touched on technology, because it seems as if the jail attackers have a kind of equipment that is of date. Hence the reason why we are still facing some of these challenges.
No. Let's I just want what I'm going through is to explain what most of us don't know, regrettably. Now, what is the nature of our inmates? The inmates in the Nigerian custodial facilities are largely awaiting trial inmates, awaiting trial persons. Who are the awaiting trial persons? They are persons that the courts of competent jurisdiction have asked us to keep for the period of trial because of the nature of their crime. Such inmates cannot be reformed, cannot be set on any assignment. They are just to be kept in custody as directed by the law or by the court. And they constitute well over 75% of those who are there. The remaining 25% are the convicts, those that the court, for whatever reason, have sentenced to a term of stay in the custodial facility, a term of imprisonment. They are about 25%. So, bearing that in mind, we'll tell you that those that we can even rehabilitate, reorientate, reform are limited. That wherever you have such people, they now fall into categories. There are those that are on death row. You can't take them to anywhere than to keep them there, awaiting the final decision of authorities that can so order. Because beyond the court decision for them to be neutralized is the fact that some political authorities, from the president to the governors, are the ones that can say ultimately liquidate. So, and if they do not so order, you can't. They are there. There's no question of reforming them. They're just there. There are those two on very, very long-term jail sentence. Depending on their state, you can't even consider them for any outdoor work. Because should they be exposed to the outside world, considering their length of jail time, they might attempt to escape. They might attempt to leave the place legally, so they are kept. Yes, there might be need for information, but you can't set them on any assignment.
So it could also be that the challenges of the old buildings have also contributed to this.
Can't you listen to what I'm saying? What I'm saying has nothing to do with old building. Whether the building is old or new, we are telling you categories of inmates. It's not a question of the age of building. It's that you have. It's not listen. You want to bring the question of the structure. That's not the issue. You want to understand the nature and character of those who are there. If a man is on life sentence, can you get him to do anything? So you also know that even among the few convicts, the nature of their custody
of their jail term dictates what we can even use them for. But yes, we have the duty of reformation. We render that to those who can be and must be reformed or rehabilitated for reintegration to society. And it's equally necessary for us to ensure that those who leave do not have any need to come back. We call it recidivism. But I'm saying that it's not just a straightforward thing as people think, that all those who are there want to reform. How do you want to reform a man that's condemned to death? Hey, just be there, will be eating, awaiting the young man. No, so I'm as to structure, and I wish most of those who comment on these things have first-hand knowledge. I was in Ibadan. The Ibadan custodial facility is very, very old. It's about 198 years old. But the structure of the building there is so solid that we wonder what we do with the new ones we have. It's about 198 years old. And yet, it's stronger than most of the new buildings. I even asked myself when I got there, and I said, how do we explain this? It's a very solid building. And yet, new facilities cannot stand the strength of the building there. So, I'm not saying there are no weak. Please don't misunderstand. I'm just saying, you cannot generalize. The issues involved are not as simple and straightforward as we think. Most of the people in our care, in our custody, are state offenders. And no matter what federal government wants, and federal government controls the custodial facilities, it cannot override the decision of the government in the states that whose courts put them there in the first place. So, if a state offender, it's only the state government that can make any effective decision on you. Yes, we have set the parameter for decongesting the facilities to release of those who either are there for offenses that might not actually require their long stay, but who are there because their cases will not be tried, or the bail term, their bail condition is not met. And I think states can help by frequent visits and regular release of those whose cases are not terrible. The control we gave is such that those who are spent about me, so they are part of their jail term can be released, and who are who conduct should be released. Those whose condition of incarceration is because of having to pay fines ought to be released, and so on. Those who have terminal illnesses, equally should be released to go home and see the consequence and see what nature can do to them. So, and I want to use the opportunity to appeal to governments in the states to be more alive to the fact that we need to decongest cultural facilities. That's very important. Other constitutions are there, and I'm confident that with this advocacy, the governments at the subnational level will rise up to the demand to support the federal government in fast and quick evaluation of the condition of the offenders that are in our custody.
I think I would like to touch on a story that was published by Punch recently, I think September 10th to be precise. They said there are some degrees of corruption in our immigration services, and in that area they feel that there is something that needs to get better. And we've seen how our immigration officers as well at the land borders, to be precise, are being corrupted when it comes to exploiting people at the airport, even those who try to get assistance from them. I believe that this has become a culture of bribe and exploitation of our air passengers. So I'd like to ask you, I believe your office is working on something quickly to cover this development. How far have you been able to cover this development?
I don't think that is correct. The officers we have at our air borders, at these airports, are so diligent. They are properly disciplined, and they carry themselves with honor. Since I assumed office here in 2019, we have not recorded any such incident. I thought we are talking about passport issuance. Yes. We are reforming the process, and I'm happy to tell you that we are recording success. The racketeering that was the bane of passport issuance is already receding. It's fast declining, and I can tell Nigerians that with time, passports will be obtained seamlessly. We are deploying technology. We are enforcing some rules, and we are not taking kindly to anybody anymore, infringing or violating standard operating procedure on passport issuance. So I'm not denying the fact that the process was not quite defined before now. But since our concentration on the management of that process, we have recorded a very huge success. Very huge success. You know, there is a humongous improvement in the process of the passport administration.
All right, many thanks for staying with us. Again, I apologize for the production issues there, but again, thanks for staying with us. In case you just joined the show, today's edition is a special focus on the Ministry of Interior, or for Interior, and its agency, and well, I say more importantly, its contribution to the Nigerian system. And quite frankly, I must say that there are numerous developments under the Ministry of Interior, but which I feel that they were worth showcasing, but because of time and of course the coordination at his end, because he was our host, I must say that there were a lot of itches here and there, not just on the production that was aired now, but this shows you that sometimes when one thing has an issue, affects everything. Well, quickly, with the little that we can get from the interview, I feel that the Honorable Minister, touched on or spoke about giving 280 foreigners Nigerian citizenship. And you come to think of it, it's like our system getting better to attract foreigners was what came to my head. Dami, what's your take on this?
Well, I think that because we are first Nigerians, and the way Americans will wake up and say, God bless Americans, I think we should begin to postulate towards that end too. So giving foreigners citizenship, I do not think is an outright bad idea. But it's a table that has 4 legs that you can put things on now. The table with 3.5 legs that is shaking, that is wobbling. You can't put anything on it. But I think also that those foreigners who got citizenship, maybe they needed it, maybe they loved Nigeria for who Nigeria is. Some of them, we have inter-country marriages now. We have foreigners marry us here. Of course, by marriage, you can become a Nigerian. By marriage, I can become an American. People should not doubt me. So if I go there, they'll give me citizenship. But I think that we should fix our own home before looking at attracting other people. But if they feel, it's the quote of they feel. It's not inclusion
We are not matter. They did not ask us because I thought that they should have filled the opinion poll. That do you people want us to give these people citizenship? But Nigerians are very flexible and we have a very large heart. So why not? Somebody forwards to be told that's if they put their hand in where their hand is supposed to be, we'll not have problem.
All right, many thanks for that. But you know, for coming to you, because I feel that you know, from our discussion as well, I feel that the prisoners, it touched on the prisoner and is about to be reformed and reinfused into the system, that is the prisoners themselves. So he said many things about awaiting trials and some who are on the death rolls. And I think that, you know, the message for me is about the judicial system from all the things that he shared and how crime, will I say, sentences are being spent or are being delayed, you know. And I feel that sometimes also from the little that I got from some of the things that he shared is that when the governors get into power, most of them delay or sign the death row, which is the reason why you see that the prison is
filled up.
What's your take on this? You know,
okay.
What's your message?
Can I quickly touch on, just add a little to what Damilola said about the citizenship? You know, if they're deserving of it, because we have a number of foreigners. You talk about the Lebanese who have lived here almost their entire lives. If they're deserving of it, why not? They think they deserve to be Nigerian citizens the same way we think we deserve to be citizens of other countries like Canada, America, and the likes. Why not? So, and thank you. Come to the aspect of the prisons. The one question that reverberates all the time with me is, are prisons, are they actually correctional centers? Are they? For me, the answer is a big no. I haven't been to the prisons, but I know a few people who have gone to do prison ministry. They say if you go there, a good number of them are not fit for lower animals. So how do you judge such centers, correctional centers? There's a change in name now, beautiful. So why don't they, as the Honorable Minister said, come together and see how we can actually make this centers, correctional centers? A situation where you lump the hardened criminals along with first offenders and you call it a correctional center, then we have not started. You know, and like you've always said, Kike, on this show, we are a lot more hypocritical because it's good enough to dress up the prisons when you hear the minister is coming to pay visits. But what about the human beings there? Does their look not tell you something that they're not properly taken care of? You know, there's a lot of work to be done. And like you said, the judiciary, they're the biggest culprit in all of this.
That's the killer mode.
I think also some of the things they also opened up about is the fact that the immigration system that he talked about regarding the boundaries, using technology that is drones, you know, for watching out the boundaries to, security, you know, in terms of security, banditry, and of course terrorism and all of that. But I think that it's a good angle to look at it when it comes to that aspect that it touched on. And I also know that he spoke about one of the oldest buildings that the prisoners are being kept, which is in Abeokuta. That is the oldest building, and it's even that building is far better than most of the buildings that they are the so-called new ones. The so-called new ones, you know, and that's, you know, for me, was like that was unacceptable. So it means that most of the time you see when they are building these structures, it's not about using the quality materials. Hence the reason why you see all these jail attackers, jail breakers, and the likes, and all of that. It's just unfortunate, you know, that the audio wasn't.
No, I think it centers on corruption. Corruption is the
bedrock, is the base.
Because the monies that are supposed to go in certain places never get there.
And even if we look at very recently his probe, or his supposed probe from the House of Representatives on the 167 billion naira facility. I mean, but whatever it is, if him as a minister, I'm not sure that he's built any new correctional center to say, okay, I'm doing this in my name. I'm doing this as a minister for interior. I'm doing this under my tenure. That you people will know that, oh, when Aregbe was there, he built a prison. They all travel. I don't know why we don't have one prison in the middle of Third Mainland Bridge and we'll be waving at them. See, we don't see. I always tell people, I'm sorry to say, if you offend, you will go to where offenders are going to, because you have a choice. Even God is a God of options. It's left or right. It's black or white. Simple. But yes, going by governors no want, I've heard that thing to a couple of times around, that governors do not want to, they renege from signing the death warrant. They do not like the, but it's the law. We have a functional law, and that's why when you go to prisons, it's always very crowded. There was a time, I think, this, what's it called, report on Ikoyi prisons and the capacity they should have. And if a prison who should have 120 capacity is having like 600, that prison will definitely break, because it's not conducive. For the fact that they've been convicted or they've been charged with one case or the other does not even make them less of a human.
Yeah.
So let's just extend the benevolence even when they are in prison. It doesn't make them less.
All right, many thanks for your submission. I think for me, right, I think Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, did so much more when he was a governor in Osun State, because I know quite a number of things that he did, especially when it comes to the educational sector, giving tablets.
I remember
Ogbeni and all of that. That one it stood up for me, because I can remember at the time that I actually, I actually talked about it and all of that. But I think that he has impacted the society more as a governor than as a minister. And that's my opinion. I stand on that. Quickly, and I say many thanks for all your submission. Before we round up the show, I think the last segment of the show is about trending stories and stories that bind us together as a family. And the first trending story that caught our attention is that of Tinubu, who at least I think I don't know if he has clarified, saying that he's ready to play dirty towards 2023. And I think that if you ask me, right, for me, I feel that the media sometimes tend to be sensational with their headlines, because I do not understand why he visited Alaafin of Oyo and Olubadan, and he can't, and he said he can't be intimidated by all sorts that is being thrown at him. He has an opinion to express however he feels, but we all know how politics are generally, especially in Nigeria, that it's a dirty game. And for me, I don't like the fact that, the publics feel, especially the youths of today, sometimes I wish that we can channel our energy into something productive instead of you typing away your future, because that is how I look at it. They are typing away their future. Damn it, I'm very serious, because I do not understand why when such headlines is being rolled out and we are quick to jump at it. I think that the media too, I'm sorry to say that we have a lot of a lot of work to do, because I do not understand why when such things are being, especially even us that we are in the public space, sometimes you see people in recent times, guys, I will not lie to you, I've seen people even sometimes when I'm maybe a bit confrontational about my rights, you see some people will even threaten you by saying that you're a public figure. If you shouldn't be saying that. Say also, do you understand? And that's the way it is for these people. Because they are a public figure, they tend to face all sorts because of their political ambitions. And I feel that the people like that, you see the public tending to dig your past and speak all sorts of nonsense, and all of that needs to stop. However we look at it, they have every right to apply as their own political capacity. It's left for us as the people to decide to say we are going to put them in this. But looking at it from another angle, when he says he's going to play dirty, whether he meant it or not, I know that there are a lot of commentary that I've read. That means I know that will be your strength. What's your take on this? But remember that he has every right as a citizen to run for presidency.
Yes. I appreciate the fact that, yes, that statement, when I saw the other, when his clarification to okay, because of all of these tantrums thrown at him, you make him feel like, oh, you have all the world. What are you looking for? People should cut some slack. Let him do what he has to do. It's you and I to know where to stand on when we want to vote. That's it, basic. But now, on the media angle too, I always say it. Yes, when the government started the media ban, the media clamping, that it felt like they were winchunting us. But no, a lot of people have come into media because of joblessness. Not because they have passion for the job, or not because they even know the code of ethics that governs us around the job. I'm not sorry to say, a lot of media people need to go back to school. and understand that what will trigger, yes, what will trigger the audience. He must have said a lot of fantastic things, but that's just wanting to sell your blog, to sell your tabloid is what you are looking for. He has a right. My concern is just, my basic concern is just because I think that Daddy just needs to rest.
Oh, that's interesting, Daddy.
Who is your daddy?
Daddy of the nation.
You don't know your daddy.
No, I know my daddy.
Quickly, what's your
anyway, my take on the matter. I want to think he was probably misinterpreted. Maybe they took what he said out of context. Because I was listening to an analyst who said, no, he did not say that. He was talking about intimidation, and he was talking about, it's not politics that is dirty, it's the players that are dirty. And whatever dirty means to you may be different from what dirty means to me. Absolutely. Do you understand? I want to think he was misinterpreted. And if he wants to be president of the country, so be it. He's a Nigerian.
All right, many thanks to the Real Talkers for lending your opinion on this segment. I think the second trending story that caught our attention is that of the President Buhari, who urges European Union on restraining acceptance of Nigerian youth immigration. You know, Atefu, let me come to you first. What's your take when you saw this?
Kike, I won't lie to you, I flipped. I was like, for want of a better word, it really didn't settle with me. I was looking for the right word to say.
And why is that?
In the first place, I'm a free moral agent. The country is not buying my ticket to travel. I can live anywhere I choose to live, provided I'm given the requisite documents to live in any part of the world. So why would you now go through the EU to say you want to collaborate with them to stop the Nigerians, let's not limit it to the youth, from traveling? Who stops them from traveling when they want to travel? Who does? Nobody does that. I have a right to go anywhere as long as it's my money. What are you offering the youths in your country? What exactly do you have on the table for them? They're not allowed to speak. I was coming here today to the studio. You need to see the way the policemen harass them on the highway every day. Morning, noon, and night, they're there. As long as they see a young man behind the wheels, they were actually searching through their telephones, and they've been told not to do this again. So if we keep harassing our youths, now they want to travel out to look for, better means of a way to live. You say you want to collaborate with the EU. Why now? Why don't you collaborate with the EU, to bring them in and get jobs?
All right, many thanks, Atefu. If you ask me, let me start from the angle where you touched on. When they travel, there's nobody holding them not to travel. But the question, did they travel and they return? Yes. Because as far as I'm concerned, I feel that there's a huge brain drain in our system, and any reasonable government should be worried about it. And as far as I'm concerned, any system that loses its youth, doesn't have a future. And I could understand where Buhari is coming from, President Buhari is coming from, because here we are talking about the brightest youth ever and the most learned professionals amongst Nigerian youth who are traveling abroad are not willing to return. It breaks my heart when I see that. And we can talk about this, about the cost of the brain drain, being in this systemic failure, and the lack of hope for this brilliant youth. However, I just feel that our country, there's no more care. There's nobody actually paying attention. There's nobody who are ready to even give the basic amenities, which is one of the reasons why these people are even traveling in the first place. And of course, there's no value for our money. Exactly. And I feel that a sacrifice has to be taken from the government side and the youth. We must come together as one to look for how to let the foreigners not take advantage of the battles that we are facing amongst us. And I also feel that the foreigners as well are also ripping us apart, and it's because of what is on ground, because they are trying to scavenge what we have, and this is a collective problem, if you ask me. It's not just about the government, it's not just about the youth. I chose to be here today. Many a times I question why I'm still here. Many a time I ask myself, yes, I have another passport, my children have another passport, we can start afresh. But I'm saying to myself, this is our own place, who remains? And I feel that is where the issues lies. It's about us coming together, And I also feel that the government should also look at the frequency around the tables on how to bring in the youth in terms of inclusion, because I feel that some of the challenges we are facing today, you cannot be deliberating behind the youth when they are not on the table. So there must be some level of accountability when it comes to the plan towards retaining our youth and the vibrant minds that are living, especially when you look at the doctors, when you look at people who can help a lot of sectors today that are willing to just leave the country and not want to return. Dami, quickly, what's your take on this?
In a nutshell, I just think that President Muhammadu Buhari, if I say daddy, and I say you are the daddy of the nation, I really do not know where that came from. But I'll borrow FO's words and say that what is on the table to keep us. Traveling is not cheap.
It's not.
Traveling is not cheap. So some of these people put their entirety together just to go for a greener pasture. Fine, I'm always a patriotic Nigerian, and I tell people, see, if you go, get some knowledge, acquire some skills, come back, and let's now better it together. Maybe as at that time, we would have faced out all these old things would have passed away, even like the Bible said, and things will become new. But sir, I think that it's not really okay when you are not offering us anything. Ordinary Gary, we are not saying. Then you now say we should not go and eat fried rice, go down now, go fair.
You know, quickly, let me quickly say this. I think that it's high time we stop pointing fingers at the government and we take ownership, because I feel that if that is the case, that means you and I will not be on this table today, and I feel that we are creative minds in Nigeria. No, that's it. Of course, we will not all be on this table. It's about entrepreneurship now. Entrepreneurship has overshadowed a lot of white collar jobs. Do you understand? You can't keep waiting on the government. You can't keep saying that what are they going to offer you if you are not willing, if you are not ready to put in the work. On that note, we come to another
if you are willing, what are they doing to support us?
And indeed, we had an awesome show on today's edition of Real Talk. And many thanks to my Real Talkers on this platform.
We are willing.
My name remains Kike Atanda-Owo.
I'm Damilola Banire.
And I am EFO. We are willing.
There's nothing to keep us.